Is the Kyler Murray era officially coming to an end in Arizona? Reports are starting to swirl that things can get very interesting this offseason for the Cardinals and their franchise quarterback. Let's break down exactly what we know and what's going on in the desert. Let's dive into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. We're all on the road to 19K as well. Cannot do without you guys, so make sure you subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. Today, we're going to be diving into, is the Kyler Murray era officially over in the desert? Well, we've heard Jonathan Gannon come out and basically say that if healthy, Kyler Murray will be the starting quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, but you cannot seem to ignore the fact that a lot of people that know football, these national people out there, multiple people have come out and said that this offense looks better with Jacoby Brissett compared to when Kyler Murray is at QB1. Now, will Kyler Murray get an official start this year? I think most likely due to monetary reasons, they probably most likely will have some sort of start. I don't know when that's going to happen, but like I said before, you can't ignore the fact, you can't ignore the numbers. Jacoby Brissett is doing very, very good things in the desert when given the opportunity. Now, I want to go and shine in on some reports that I ended up seeing here about the Arizona Cardinals could potentially move off of Kyler this coming offseason because of the main reason of this regime. Monty Osborne and Jonathan Gannon did not draft Kyler Murray, so it might be coming to an end. But let's go ahead and dive right into those reports. One of the first clips that I want to go and show you here is Adam Schefter on the Pat McAfee show, basically saying that things can get very, very interesting this offseason. There might not happen in this year's trade deadline, but this is what Adam Schefter ended up having to say.
It's a question right now because Jacoby Brissett has played well, and even Rex Ryan this morning on Get Up said that he felt like the Cardinals offense operates better with Jacoby Brissett. He's not the first person to say that. Look, and here's the other point to make here. Their general manager, Monty Osborne, their head coach, Jonathan, neither one of them drafted Kyler Murray. He's got $36.9 million of guaranteed money due next year. We're not there yet right now. It's not full-blown interesting, but it could be. It could be interesting this offseason.
So not a lot of, I guess, with what I'm hearing out there, it doesn't really seem like there is a lot of, I guess, value for Kyler. I don't think people are really calling for Kyler Murray right now, which is pretty telling on its own. I don't know if there's a team that's willing to take that contract and give up draft capital at this point of their season, right? Like a lot of teams that potentially can go after a quarterback, they're sitting at 1-6. 2 wins, 3 wins on the season. And I don't know if they're looking at Kyler Murray to be their savior in the middle of a season, because we all know that Kyler Murray doesn't do really good in the second half of the season. So why waste a lot of draft capital when they can go to the draft and get a young guy out there, or maybe in free agency? Now, in this offseason, their hope starts to kind of come around from multiple different teams, right? Cardinals, Bears, name every other team, right? Everybody has a sense of hope that with all the moves that they made this offseason in the draft and free agency, that they could potentially be a playoff team and potentially play for the Lombardi. Now, another article that I want to go ahead and shine some light on here as well is going to be on NBC Sports PFT Pro Football Talk, and it's coming from Mike Florio. And I know some people don't really like his takes, or they don't really kind of put too much weight in it, but when you read this article, you really kind of, I guess, really feel that there might be a real possibility here. Now, of course, I think it really depends on what happens in the last few games versus the Cardinals. Right now, they are 3-5. They got a really huge win over the Dallas Cowboys with Jacoby Brissett at the helm, and he did a really good job. The defense really stood up, and the Cardinals might be making a very tough decision to potentially go back to Kyler Murray, which I don't blame them. Would I do it if I was them? I wouldn't, but I understand how this organization works. They do things based on monetary reasons, and because Kyler Murray is a franchise quarterback and the guy that's getting paid the big bucks, they're probably going to give him an opportunity to prove it if he's truly that guy. But just the way that things are working out right now, you can definitely tell that Jacoby Brissett at the helm is really elevating the play of Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. It's just really fascinating to see. Now, of course, the run game hasn't been fixed quite yet, but a lot of eyes are looking at Jacoby Brissett saying, hey, if you're able to do this with $8 to $9 million on the payroll, then why can our $45+ million quarterback do that as well? Well, I think we all know the answer as to why, but let's go and dive right into this article that I ended up seeing here from Pro Football Talk, with obviously some sources that he knows, and he's poked around a couple different sources, and it seems like it might be likely. But let's go ahead and shine some light here on over to this article. I want to start off right here with this highlight, and it says this: could the Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray be traded? Right. And it says this: so I poked around and I learned there are too many moving parts for a Murray trade to happen now. Not many teams are willing to even consider it. Murray, even without a no trade clause, would have to be willing to embrace the change of a venue. His contract would be an issue. Having fewer suitors would reduce any leverage he might possibly have for a through the door extension. So, despite the current existence of the awkward vibe between Murray and the Cardinals, dating back to the ill-advised homework clause in his 2022 extension, he won't be going anywhere this season. That said, an offseason trade is very realistic, if not likely. The current regime did not draft him. The current regime did not sign him to an second contract. The current regime has yet to be able to pick its own quarterback. And with the current regime staring at 3 years of not making it to the postseason, one way to successfully finagle a fourth season will be to lobby the ownership for the ability to draft, to sign, or to trade for a new starter. Now, of course, it ends up talking about Michael Bidwell, and if he wants to hit the reset button, there's multiple different ways to do that. And there's some really good things here on this article, but it basically all kind of boils down to the point of, we've seen a backup quarterback, probably the best backup quarterback that we've seen Kyler Murray have in the tenure of being the QB1 for the Arizona Cardinals. One thing I have noticed is that Monty Ossenfort, every single year he's been here, has either drafted a quarterback, traded for a quarterback, or brought in a quarterback. Every single year, Clayton Tune was drafted to the Cardinals, and we traded for Joshua Dobbs. Now, of course, that was because Kyler was hurt and rehabbing an injury. His year 2, they ended up trading for Desmond Ridder. Year 3, they ended up getting Jacoby Brissett. And honestly, every single year there's been a quarterback move. So maybe that might have been the attempt to kind of tell everybody that, yes, we believe in Kyler because of the monetary reasons that he's currently on this roster, but he's not our guy at the end of the day. But I'm going to be real with you. They have accommodated, they have been able to been very, very supportive of having him be that guy. And I keep going back to the monetary reasons because truthfully, the regime did not actually pick him. Like, they did not pick him. Now, could the Cardinals made some sort of, or could have Jonathan Gannon or Monty Osborne made some sort of tip about, hey, we want to move off of him quicker? Maybe, but I don't think Michael Bidwell allowed it. We all know Michael Bidwell and the Bidwells and how, I guess, stingy and cheap and very tight to the purse strings. They don't like to spend unnecessary money. So I believe when they were brought in, they were told, you have to make it work here with Kyler Murray. But now all the eyes are on Kyler and Jacoby Brissett and what he's been doing in the most recent weeks, the 3 weeks that we've seen Jacoby Brissett. And it's very, very obvious that Kyler Murray isn't the best suited quarterback for this system, especially if the Arizona Cardinals want to continue the system to potentially run it at a chance of the Lombardi. Obviously, I'm not saying this year, but if they want to stay true to this type of offense, Kyler Murray does not stay in the pocket. He's not willing to take a hit. He will scramble at the first opportunity he feels pressure. And of course, with that does ruin a lot of everybody's play style, right? Like Marvin Harrison Jr. probably has to break out and do something else. All these different things. It doesn't work when you kind of are always in a scramble mode, right? Because the wide receivers need to be able to be in tune with the quarterback and what they want him to do 15, 20 yards down the field. And I don't think none of them really have that communication. Now, Trey McBride might be the best option to kind of just sit in a zone and be that safety blanket for Kyler Murray. But as we can tell in these 1.5 years with Marv and Kyler, they don't have that connection. Michael Wilson, Zay Jones, he doesn't pass the ball to anybody but Marv or Trey McBride, where now we're starting to see Jacoby Brissett take the helm, and he's spreading the ball around to every single weapon we have on this roster. Now, another thing I do want to note as well, looking back at what Jacoby Brissett has done for these last 3 weeks in this offense. Now, also, please keep in mind that Jacoby Brissett was put in this situation where he played against the 2 toughest teams in the Green Bay Packers as well as the Colts. And guess what? He almost beat them. But I want to go ahead and take a look at the rankings here for the Arizona Cardinals, and you probably will be shocked. Maybe not, but the Cardinals in total offense, they were around the 28, maybe even the 30 range when Kyler Murray was the quarterback for the Cardinals. Now, look at this with 3 weeks of Jacoby Brissett. We ended up kind of shooting over to the 21 spot in total offense. Now, if that doesn't impress you, let's take a look at the passing offense. They're ranked number 20. And guess what? They were around the 29-30 realm, around the 28-39 realm. That's where they were kind of sitting with Kyler Murray. With 3 weeks of Jacoby, they have moved on over to the 20th ranked offense in passing offense. Now, let's take a look at scoring offense, shall we? Scoring offense. The Cardinals, again, were in the bottom parts, even close to the 30s when it comes down to the NFL. Now they're sitting at number 19 in scoring offense. If this doesn't tell you that there is a big shift in the way Jacoby plays compared to Kyler, I don't know how else to show you. But the offense has been moving up the ranks in these last 3 weeks, and it's looking very, very good. Now, third down offense. Take a look at this. Third down offense, the Cardinals have always been, pretty mid when it comes down to the third down offense, around floating around the 13, 14, 15, 16 area. Take a look at this. Fourth right now through 9 weeks of the NFL season. That's absolutely pretty amazing. And that's all attributed to Jacoby Brissett and these weapons and just basically being able to stay on time and allow the play to develop for these wide receivers to get open, either through zone or beat your guy and cause some separation. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the era of Kyler Murray might be coming to an end soon. And I think that Jacoby Brissett only kind of really helped the situation because it also showed that there is a quarterback that can run the system better than your said $45+ million quarterback that's on your payroll. Now, let's see exactly what happens with the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. But as of right now, let me know what your guys' overall thoughts here in the comments below. I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.